Someone asked where Katara and Kenny were. Seeing that the chat is gradually coming to life, the guy was delighted. Smiling, the guy said that it was wonderful. If the audience wanted to look at the famous newcomers, then he would go straight to them. When he played for the night, he managed to earn a good reputation for himself, and today he will show the audience newcomers in action, never dying. There was still a war on the field, and among all these struggling people, Timothy was moving forward very quickly, lying on his stomach. He was thinking about ducking as low as possible so as not to get involved in the battle. Where are these newbies now? Raising his head, he soon found them both. Katara was smiling as always and Kenny was frowning. Immediately, the chat came to life. Someone shouted seeing Katara, someone grinned, saying that they looked like they went out for a walk. Seeing this, Timothy was of course pleased with the reaction. Looking at the chat, the guy was thinking that if he continued in the same spirit, then suddenly a new notification came to him with a thought and he looked at it. Roxy joined the broadcast. The guy was surprised. Seeing the new name, the chat came alive again. Someone asked about the fact that isn't Roxy a famous streamer. Someone else said that it really is her. Someone asked why she wasn't on the air today. And someone asked Miss Roxy if she would like to have coffee with him. The guy was pleasantly surprised, because the newcomer number 1 was now on his broadcast. She used the option of a personal broadcast. It's expensive. Why she joined the broadcast. Someone asked if Roxy was also here to take a look at the newcomers, to which she did not answer anything, and immediately a new wave started in the chat. Someone could not restrain his sigh. Someone asked what really, she was here to keep the newcomers in check. Someone asked who was stronger than Katara or Kenny, and someone else said that he would protect Roxy no matter what. But Timothy was glad of it. Although the chat was active, Roxy's unexpected visit definitely revived it. When people find out that Roxy is on his broadcast, a lot of people will connect here. It was a great opportunity, but he still had to be careful not to die. At this time, Kenny told a friend that he thought they were almost done here, to which Katara, smiling, said that maybe then they need to move on. Suddenly, in the chat, someone asked who would win if Roxy fought Katara, and seeing this, Timothy was skeptical. He wondered who asked such a stupid question. Naturally, Roxy would have won. But to everyone's surprise, Roxy replied that she would have lost. This of course created a new boom in chat. Someone asked what is normal for a beginner. No one to say such a thing. Someone else said she was probably pretending to be weak, and someone asked if she was serious, and Roxy replied that she was serious. At this time, Katara locked blades with one warrior. Roxy at this time said that if they forgot, Katara's rating is 81, and his score is 88. In other words, higher than her, and that's not all. At this time, the warrior made a lunge towards the famous novice, but he easily restrained the opponent's sword and grinned at her. Roxy also added that bloody parrying is also important. Katara parried the blow in an instant, which caused the sword to fly out of the opponent's hands. Roxy added that it's a complex skill that deals massive damage when it parries attacks. At this time, Katara instantly found himself behind the opponent, who was already falling lifeless. Roxy continued, saying that the rack is trajectory, time, force, direction. If you make even the slightest mistake, the skill is not activated. Katara constantly performs these complex movements that require tremendous skill. She and the other newcomers would have lost to Katara. Roxy was wondering if there was a stronger player there. Someone asked if that was too much praise. Someone else asked the girl that she had no self-respect at all. Why does she speak so highly of Katara? The girl frowned and wrote that she was just telling the facts. Someone asked if there was a way not to fall under such an attack, to which the girl said there was. Timothy didn't know what to do while reading all this. The girl said that parrying in the same direction and timing cancels the enemy's attacks. Someone asked if she was joking or something. You need to be a pro for the same. Someone else held a friend, saying that it was easier said than done. To these comments, Roxy said that if someone could do that, he would be a monster. Therefore, she will not be able to win. The ability to measure scores and react to them is not a show-off. Timothy himself was surprised by this admission. Someone suddenly asked if advanced rankers like Luke couldn't measure scores, to which the girl thought for a second and said she thought Luke could do it. At this time, a new opponent appeared in a black cloak, an iron mask, and a dagger in his hand. The guy ran straight at Katara, and seeing this, Timothy wondered who it was. Really a spy. Someone in the chat said that the first sacrificial lamb had jumped. Someone else, Tiskakaya, said that he was already starting to get tired of their terrible deaths. Luke jerked towards Katara, and seeing this, one of the spectators said that he was running towards death. Dagger and sword met and waves of power flew in all directions. Surprised, Katara clenched his teeth, but the guy jumped back with a dagger at the ready. Seeing this guy, Roxy got up from her seat and wondered what was going on here. only that he actually repelled Kataro's attack. Someone in the chat said that he thinks he just pushed Kataro away since he didn't use the parry skill. Someone else said what the hell it was, he was afraid. Someone else asked Roxy what she said, that with her level, she would never have reflected Kataro's parry skill. Roxy herself was surprised what Kataro was doing there. Kataro was unhappy jumping back. The guy in the mask immediately rushed to him and he managed to turn away. Looking at this guy, Kataro realized that he parries his skill and then immediately attacks. Kataro swung his sword towards the guy, but he jumped back and then immediately swung his sword himself and left the next Otaku Kataro. A new notification popped up in front of the guy, saying that he cancelled the enemy's attack and performed a counter-attack. The target was temporarily stunned, and his experience has increased. The guy seeing these notifications thought it was great, but Roxy was at a loss. The girl with black hair, looking at the screen, thought it was crazy. He tells her that she has always enjoyed going against him, and now she does not react. Even when he mocks her, it's not even interesting. He was hiding something from her. She is not the only one in their family who has awakened abilities. He also woke up, and his ability is stealing. He can steal from their other abilities, and he decided to steal the ability from his sister. The system told him that the ability theft was complete. Ability D rank. Title: Mental Explosion. Description: abilities, sends a mental charge that attacks enemies. The evaluation of the colon's ability, although weak, is the sister's ability, so it is of particular importance. The guy read all this information and asked, is it really a rank D ability? If she was stronger, then his fairy sister would not instantly turn into an ice statue from an unintentional attack. But is it true that it was unintentional? The distance to the fairies of the fairies was so far away. There were screams in the corridor. The guy's father shouted that he was a murderer, to which the men told him that didn't he save more people? They must calm down, because it is impossible to control everything at once. It's a coincidence that Miss Yan was in that store. They also didn't want this to happen, because the heroes are not gods. They are already trying their best to fight the monsters. Sometimes they can accidentally harm others when they are fighting a monster. The father threw the documents and shouted that he would never sign these documents. They should take their stinking money and get the hell out of here. Then a guy came out of the room and picked up these documents. His father asked him what he was doing. Does he really want to exchange life and fairies for money? The boy stood up and, grabbing his father's shoulder, told him that Fei was in a vegetative state. They need money in order to provide her with everything she needs. The father was shocked. The guy turned to the man and said that, however, he wants to add additional conditions. The man told him to voice them. The guy said he hoped the hero who hurt his sister apologized in person face to face. The man hesitated and asked if he could apologize on his behalf, and the Kunlun company should also issue a formal apology. The guy said that he wants this hero to come here in person. The man apologized and told the guy that they should know that the rank hero's schedule is overloaded. Bing Chu and JR would like to personally apologize, but he is too busy fighting. He cannot come here in person. They are also willing to pay 100,000 more in compensation. The guy grinned and told the man to take the papers, because he had already signed everything. The man accepted the papers and said it was good, and thanked him for his understanding. When the man left the hospital, it was already evening. He called on the phone and said that he settled everything, only he had to add another 100,000 as compensation. Bing Chun Jr. said it was only 100,000. He praised the Wang's lawyer and said that he would tell his secretary later to send them the money. Their conversation ended. Lawyer Wang said that the hero likes to rest, if only he could also awaken the ability. The guy again came to visit his sister in the hospital. He told Fei not to blame him for signing the contract. After all, she knows the situation of their family, but she should not worry about it. because he will find out the truth. He does not believe that all this was unintentional. Some awakened ones are unworthy of being called heroes, and he will change this world. Chapter 2. His name is Yang Zai and he is a trainee reporter, a person who was unintentionally harmed by an rank hero. It was his sister and Yang Fei. To implement his plan, he moved out from his parents and came here, Mingyu area. Yang Zai moved into his new apartment, where he was greeted by two girls. One of them greeted him and said that her name is Ding Lan, and this girl who is sitting on the sofa is called Zio AI. And there is another neighbor who has not returned yet. Zio AI also greeted him. Ding Lan asked Yang Zai what is his name. Yang Zai also introduced himself. Ding Lan said that in their time, new housemates rarely come. Why don't they celebrate this event? Zio AI said that she is a younger resort girl who entered this year, so she will be in the library tonight, and they can go without it. Yang Zai went to his room and said that it was not necessary. He just arrived here and is also a bit tired, so he wants to rest. He went into his new room and lay down on the bed. He took out his phone and said that the video, where heroes fight monsters, has become quite popular. So, a lot of videos with explanations of abilities. Yang Zai does not remember exactly when it started, but all over the world, dark portals suddenly began to appear. Through these portals, a monster arrived on their planet. The planet could stop the invasion of these monsters only thanks to the possessors of the abilities. And these possessors of abilities were called heroes. In order to prevent hunters from abusing their abilities, an ability law was passed, according to which only hunters who passed the test and received a hero certificate could use their abilities. Yang Zai turned on that video and said that this is the video in which Yang Fei was injured by this hero. He exhaled and said that at the moment he did not find anything suspicious, but tomorrow they will study this video again. Then he looked at the time and said, "What the hell? It's already 2:30 in the morning. He must quickly brush his teeth and wash, because tomorrow he still has a lot of work." He left his room and saw a drunk girl. He thought that it means that this is the very last neighbor. He decided to say hello to her. The girl told Yang Zai that if he didn't mind, could he let her use the restroom. She went into the bathroom, she vomited. Then she fell asleep in the toilet. Yang Zai approached her and asked if she was okay. Should he help her in some way? To which the girl replied. To which the girl told him that men should not get too close to a girl when she is in such a state. Therefore, Yang Zai headed towards Ding Lan's room. He knocked on her door, the girl opened it for him. Ding Lan asked him why he was not sleeping yet, because it was already so late. Yang Zai apologized for the trouble, and he said that the other roommate was drunk and in the toilet, and asked how about to help her, since she is also a woman. For a man like him, he is not a very comfortable type to help her with this. Ding Lan told him that he should just leave her there, because this is not the first time. And it's pretty late, she has to work tomorrow. And Yang Zai should also go to bed. Then she slammed the door. Yang Zai said that it seemed like he was the only one who could help her. He approached the girl again and asked her if she could get up. But the girl did not answer him, so Yang Zai apologized in advance. He took her in his arms, and the system immediately sent him a notification that the ability to overload the brain was detected. Yang Zai said that this girl also has an ability. Then the system sent him a full description of this ability. It was an F-rank ability. Title: Brain Overload. Description: puts the brain in a state of overload for a short period of time, greatly increasing the brain's computational abilities. Rating of this ability: good potential. The owner doesn't seem to know that she has this ability. Yang Zai laid this girl on the sofa and covered her with a jacket. He said that this girl seemed to think she was very smart. If she studies well, she can become the best. But he still takes her abilities, but in the future he will somehow pay her for it. The system said that the brain overload ability was successfully stolen. Yang Zai asked, wondering what effect it would have on him. The system told Yang 11 that brain overload and mental attack both belong to mental abilities, and she asked him if he wanted to unite them. Yang Zai made the decision to combine these two abilities. The system said that the merging of abilities is complete. This is a new D+ rank ability. The name of this ability: Superbrain. Ability description: automatically sends mental attacks. A significant increase in the ability to calculate and deduce. Evaluation: this is a double-edged sword and must be used wisely. Yang Zai, after reading all this information, said that he might be able to find some clues in the video of the incident in which Yang Fei suffered. The next day, someone knocked on Yang Zai's room. He woke up and asked who was there. He opened the door and saw yesterday's girl. The girl returned to him his coat, with which he then covered her and thanked him for helping her last night. She said her name was Lin Nexu. Yang Zai took back his coat and thought it was the same girl from last night. Now she looks so innocent. And he told her that without any problem, He just extended a helping hand to her and said that his name was Young 11. And he remembered something and thought that yes, he had taken her ability last night even though she didn't even know she had a pull ability. So he decided to ask her if she was okay. Do they feel uncomfortable anywhere? Lin Nasp smiled at him and said everything was fine. She's already used to it, so don't worry so much about her. Yang Zai said. Then a man broke into his room and called him and said that
Wird diese Woche warm?
Es wird kühler. Wird nach und nach kühler werden, aber es bleibt glaube ich noch so um die 20 Grad. Es regnet heute Nacht.
Also unter Mittwoch soll ich lieber eine lange oder eine kurze Hose anziehen?
Mittwoch?
Ja?
Können wir das bitte Mittwoch werden?
Okay.
Mal gucken, wie es Mittwoch dann ist.
this is how he lives here now. But this man noticed Lin Nexu and asked Yang Zai that he had started dating someone behind his back. The young man told him not to talk nonsense. After all, this is Lin Nexu, his neighbor with whom he lives. The guy was in shock, thought that it looks like he was too impulsive when he rented an entire apartment. After all, renting an entire apartment is not very profitable. He smoothed his hair and greeted Miss Lin Nexu. He said his name was Fan Peng and he was Yang Zai's friend and colleague. Lin Nexu shook hands with him and told him to just call her Nexu. Then Fan Peng told her that he was the possessor of abilities. His ability is to be able to take pictures and videos with his bare hands, so if she wants to take a couple of beautiful photos. But then Yang Zai intervened and told Lin Nexu that Fan Peng had moved to take him to the editorial office. They are with him just the same on the way. Fan Peng tried to break through the Yangtze, telling him that he had not yet finished talking about where he was in such a hurry. Publishing company Lugan. Yang Zai came to the publishing house and began to revise that one again. Video. He activated the deduction of the superbrain, and I started watching that video again and again. While watching this training video, Yang Zai said that this movement is very strange, it looks like. But he was prevented by Fan Peng, who shoved him with his elbow and asked him why he was not interested in flirting with girls, and especially with such a beautiful girl like Lin Nexu. If Yang Si is not going to, then he will. To which Yang Zai replied that they were just neighbors, his friend should not go too far. Then Fan Peng said that from flatmates to bedmates, it's very easy. By the way, he can teach him if he doesn't know how. Then they heard screams that a monster had appeared. They got up from their chairs and went to the window. There really was a monster. It was a one-eyed killer. The government made an announcement to the people that a monster had appeared. And this monster ranked disaster. People should go to the nearest shelter, and the heroes are on their way. One of the heroes appeared and said that the citizens should not be afraid. After all, the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles is already here. He will not allow anything to happen to the city of Lugano. When people saw him, they were very happy and said that these are her heroes B-rank Superman of Spicy and Sour Noodles, and he came to save them all. Meanwhile, Feng Pen, after zooming in on the picture of the one-eyed assassin, said that the one-eyed assassin not only has strong defenses, but they also have a psychopathic melee ability. The 18 spiders that work together will have a very hard time dealing with this monster, and the Spicy and Sour Noodle superhero might not win at all. Feng Pen turned around to repeat all the Yang 11 information again, but he was no longer there, so he said that Yang runs very fast. He continued to watch through the window again and said that people are usually so weak, so it's time to earn some money with his ability. In the meantime, a hero from the rank of a fiery butterfly arrived in time and asked the elder that he needed help. The superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles said that she was just in time to hold this monster, and she should attack him. The fire butterfly said she understood. The heroic live broadcast has begun. The hosts were Director G and Mao Huang. Director G said that superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles is a melee hero, and he was very selfish and narcissistic when he first appeared. Mao Huang asked the director why he gives the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles such a review. Director G said that in order to activate his ability, he needs to eat a bowl of spicy and cysts of noodles, so he usually appears after Togo, when the other heroes have already pretty exhausted the monster and kill him. Mao Huang smiled and said that, as expected of Director G, he always divulges information that other people don't know. Director G told Mao Huang to stop talking and continue watching the live broadcast of the battle. Meanwhile, the battle with this monster continued. The fire butterfly asked the Spicy and Sour Noodle superhero to step aside. Then she hit this monster with her superpower, and the TV presenters continued to comment on their battle. Mao Huang said that this monster's life is coming to an end, to which the Director G said no, it might not be so. Mao Huang was very surprised and asked why he thinks so, to which Director G replied that monsters are also smart. He has not yet seen a single sign of anxiety in this monster. After the fiery butterfly stopped the flow of its fiery power, everyone saw that the monster was not only not defeated, it was not even injured. The superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles said that this monster has evolved and now his body has a fireproof shield. The awesome butterfly was in disarray and, turning to the superhero of Spicy Sour Noodles, asked him if he could hold out even longer. After all, before the arrival of other heroes, some more time will pass. At this moment, the Spicy Sour Noodle hero remembered his conversation with the director. He then told him that superheroes Spicy and Sour Noodles had already entered the narrowest point of his career as a professional hero. If he wants to break through and become one of the most famous stars of the company, then he can no longer afford to lose. Once he fails as a superhero, his fame will decline, and the company will direct all its resources towards younger heroes. From such information, the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles was horrified and thought that he could not lose his place as a senior in the company. Can't he let this happen? So now the superhero of Spicy and Sour Noodles decided to eat some strange pill. Yang Zai was watching all this and thought that he seemed to have already seen this blue pill. At that moment, the monster grabbed the fire butterfly. The fiery butterfly began to call for the help of the superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles. Lev brought to the main screen a frame of how this monster grabbed a fiery butterfly. Started writing comments about it. A user under the name 3 Lives 3 Idiots wrote that as they all already know, the superhero Spicy and Kitty Noodles has only 15 minutes of real male power. Another user named Yin Poopoo wrote that let any hero come and save their Yongda from death. 3 user, under the name of Mysterious Anonymous Cowards, wrote that if he were a hero, he would have already killed this thing in one fell swoop. A 4th user named Jitch AI commented on the post of a user named Mysterious Anonymous Underpants said that a showcase hero has appeared upstairs. Meanwhile, the fire butterfly still being captured by this monster was trying to get out of there and screaming that it didn't want to die. At that moment, someone tore apart one of the monster's tentacles, thus releasing the fire butterfly. It was a superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles. The TV presenter named Mao Huang slammed his fist on the table with joy and said that it was excellent. Superhero Spicy and Sour Noodles can only be in combat form for 15 minutes. But this time he broke through, he's stronger than before. From joy, Mao Huang jumped up from his chair and said that the hero had not aged yet. Director Ji said calmly that this was rather unexpected. How did he? But he was interrupted by an agitated Mao Huang and said that he was not a one-eyed assassin who was attacking the hero of Spicy and Sour Noodles. Meanwhile, the hero of Spicy and Sour Noodles stopped right in front of the one-eyed monster and told him that it was time to end this battle. The one-eyed monster directed all of its tentacles straight at the Spicy and Sour Noodle hero. But the superhero managed to hold his tentacles and asked, "Is that really all he is capable of?" At some point, the superhero was covered with stones, but gaining strength, he got out of there, tearing all the tentacles of the one-eyed monster. The one-eyed monster was defeated, but the hero of Spicy and Sour Noodles also ran out of strength. Blood came out of his mouth and he fell to the ground. A fiery butterfly rushed towards him. He looked at the fiery butterfly, and she was very much afraid of him. "It's a pill, how did you change it?" The fiery butterfly grabbed his shoulder and asked him what was happening to him. And the superhero Spicy and Kitty Noodles thought he had to control it. After that, he smiled at the fiery butterfly with all his teeth and said that he was completely fine. He just used too much of his powers. The fire butterfly told him that he scared her very much. Meanwhile, people began to rejoice. They shouted that the heroes are so reliable. It's just unbelievable. Superhero is Spicy and Kitty Noodles are so cool. And also everyone began to confess their love to the fiery butterfly. Yang Zai was watching all this from afar, and he said that everything seemed to be over. He will need to prepare news for them when he returns. But he doesn't remember the blue pill at all. Well, then he turned to the corpse of a one-eyed monster and saw how a small monster got out of it, and Yang Zai asked what was it really a small one-eyed killer, a clone. This little one-eyed killer was very disturbed. He got out of the body of the one-eyed monster and rushed towards Yang Zai. Yang Zai said that this monster was moving towards him, and he thought that his physical and elemental defenses are so high that perhaps a mental attack would be his weak point. The little one-eyed killer said that he would get revenge on this Spicy and Sour Noodle when he found the owner and absorbed enough energy. And noticing the nearby young 11, the one-eyed assassin said that this young man looked very appetizing. Now he will be his master. Yang Zai looked at him and asked, did he just send himself here? He adjusted his glasses and said, well, now his ability will be his. After that, he absorbed the ability of this little one-eyed assassin, and the monster fell down dead. The fire butterfly felt this and turned around, and thought that someone was using their ability. Yang Zai, picking up the corpse of this little one-eyed assassin, said that it was good that he was just a weak clone. Even if his weakness was mental attacks, then his D+ rank mental attack could not kill him instantly. He began to extract an ability from this monster. When he extracted an ability from him, the system sent him a notification saying that this ability was B rank. Name, Fire Shield. Description, immune to fire attacks below rank B, and also significantly increases physical defense. Rating, a very useful tanking ability. Yang Zai, after studying all this information, said that is, it is like an invisible shell that covers the surface of the body. No matter how strong her ability is, she always has a weak spot. This phrase, popular in the world of abilities, is similar, does not work on him. Meanwhile, the fire butterfly went looking for this person and asked who is there. Yang Jie hid behind a building and thought that it was not yet time for them to find out about him. The fucking butterfly landed near where Yang Zai was hiding and said that it was strange because she felt a sharp influx of psychic energy here and a video of someone here. Then a man came out from behind the building and asked the fiery butterfly that she was looking for him. The fire butterfly turned around and asked this man what was if he had just used his ability. The man stepped towards her and said, this man was Young 11. He just put on a mask so that the fiery butterfly would not recognize him. The fiery butterfly asked him that he was also a hero. She doesn't remember seeing him before. Yang Zai threw the trail of the little one-eyed killer at her feet and said no, he was just a passerby who helped her clean up. The fire butterfly looked at the corpse of this little killer and asked if it was a clone of the one-eyed killer. And she herself thought that this person could finish off such a strong and dangerous monster in an instant. But he's not a hero, he shouldn't use his powers without permission. Yang Jie was about to walk past the fire butterfly to get out of this place, but the fire butterfly stopped him and told him that he illegally used his ability. Now he will have to follow her to the Hero Association to have it checked. Then Yang Zai asked her what did she think she could stop him, to which fire butterfly got angry and said that his actions were contrary to the law of ability. By law, she has every right to take action against him, which is what she was about to do. Yang Zai remained as calm as ever and asked the fiery butterfly, is this really how heroes should treat ordinary people? He grabbed one of her little fire butterflies and crushed it in his hand, after which he walked past her and asked that now it was his turn to attack. The fiery butterfly was very frightened and flew away from there, shouting to him, I'm sorry. She said it was entirely her fault and asked him not to kill her. When the fiery butterfly flew away, Yang Zai said that superheroes are spicy and sour noodles and blue pill, and what the hero was doing the other day on the glacier must be the same thing. Yang Zai took off his mask and said that he would definitely find out the whole truth. Evening had already come and Yang Zai was riding in the metro of the city of Luhansk. Yang Zai sat on the subway and thought that for now, he should stop collecting abilities and focus on developing his brain reboot. He also needs to find information about the blue pill. Yang Zai passed by some man and asked for his forgiveness. After this man passed, Yang Zai patted the seat next to him and realized that his backpack was gone. He asked if someone had stolen it. He immediately jumped up and got up from his seat. He began to look around and said that the hell is the rooster costume in the same place? Was it really the guy in the jacket? Has he disappeared? But they had not yet reached the station. He could not have gone far from here. Could he be someone with the invisibility ability? But then what about his smell? Yang Zai used the ability to reboot the brain, enhance the senses. Yang Zai used the ability to reboot the brain, enhance the senses. After he used this ability, he said that the smell of the backpack came from that guy. But his aura and clothes are completely different, so it's not invisibility. But maybe it's some kind of ability to change appearance. Yang Zai smirked and said that this ability that came into his hands on its own is quite useful. Even when Yang Zai got off the subway station, he continued to follow that man. This man said that today is harvest day, but he doesn't understand why he's feeling nervous right now. This man turned around and saw Young 11, and I thought this guy. Yang Zai just waved his hand, and the man thought, what and when did he manage to understand that it was he who was pursuing him otherwise? Yang Zai called out to him to stop, and the man ran away and said that today he was hit by a hard stone. The man ran to a public toilet and hid there, but Yang Si tracked him down and asked him if he was going to use all the tricks of the middle classes, hiding in the toilet when he was too weak. He must leave immediately. But when I switched on the light in the public restroom, this man was not there. Then he asked that this guy really went into the women's room. Yang Zai went to the women's restroom. He knocked on the booth and told the man to get out because he knew he was there. The men from the booth called Yang Zai a pervert and asked him what he was trying to do. Then I stood on the blue and said that it means he likes to do everything in a bad way and drank the door to the booth. The man screamed and said that there was a pervert here and threw toilet paper at Yang Zai. Yang Zai, removing the toilet paper from himself, said that this man's ability is very unusual. She even changed his voice. The men asked Yang Zai for forgiveness and said that it was his first time. To which Yang Zai replied that, unfortunately, this ability cannot change his body and appearance. The man exhaled and said that he was unlucky. And I turned to Yang Zai. He took out his backpack and said that here is his backpack and his things. Yang Zai grabbed his backpack and decided to make sure everything was in place. But the man was ahead of him and said that things are still there. Then Yang Zai asked him if he looked inside his backpack. What are the men for? He replied that he swears he did not even open it. Yang said it was good then. A man should find a normal job for himself, and in the future he should be a good person. The man said yes, he would never steal again and thanked Yang Zai for sparing him this time. To which Yang Zai replied that did he say that he was going to spare him. The man turned pale with fear. After some time, Yang Zai had already extracted this man's abilities and, as he was about to leave, said that he was not going to collect abilities anymore, but he could not resist such a temptation. It was an F-rank ability. The name of this ability is to change clothes anywhere. Ability description: you can change clothes with a single movement of your hand. The set also includes storage space. Yang Zai tried this ability on herself and changed her clothes. Now he was wearing a suit. He came out of the closet and thought it was a very handy and useful ability. Then 2 policemen came up to him and greeted him. They told him that they had received a message from a citizen that someone was screaming in a pervert of women's toilets and asked him if he had not heard this. Yang Zai told the 2 policemen that he heard and saw a pervert in disguise there who was acting very suspicious. The men groaned and told each other to go and check. Yang Zai watched the scene of 2 police officers carrying this pervert out of the women's restroom and said that some ability holders do not deserve their ability, but he will definitely fix it. 1 week later, Yang Zai arrived by taxi and was met by his friend at Fan Peng. Fan Peng waved his hand to him and said that at last he was here. But I still remained as serious as ever and asked his friend what he wanted to tell him, that he even had to call him. Fan Peng approached him and hugged him and asked him to guess who he had just seen at the nightclub. Yang Zai asked what whom. Fan Peng smiled at him and said that he had seen his girlfriend Lin Nexu there. She was there as an attendant. Yang Zai told his friend that she was not his girlfriend and why he was telling him all this at all. They were already approaching this club, and Fan Peng told Yang Zai that he could already stop this pretense in front of him. He can see for himself and understand everything. They went to this club, and Fan Peng invited him to sit in that place. Lin Nexu noticed Yang Zai and, embarrassed, Yang Zai and Fan Peng had already sat down at the table and ordered a cocktail. Fan Peng decided to cheer up Yang Zai and told him not to be so sad, because there are still many beauties on earth. Today he is here in his territory, so he should just sit and enjoy. Then he called the girls. 3 girls came up to them and greeted them. Fan Peng introduced the young 11 of all 3 and said that this 11, Tian Tian, and Pao Pao are all 3 of his wonderful little sisters. He introduced his friend to these 3 girls and said that Yang Zai is his best friend, and asked them what, isn't he handsome? The girls sat next to Yang Zai and said that brother Zai is so handsome. Another girl offered him a drink together, placed nearby. There were also 2 men and 3 women at the next table. One of the men said that he was unlucky as hell today. If his brother hadn't taken his McLaren, he wouldn't have lost to that brat Gao Zhen. Li Yan told this man that he lost the race, so he should just admit it, and don't blame the car for everything. This man's name is Liu Yuan, and he was already very drunk. He told Li Yang that he couldn't get through to his father's side, so he became his bodyguard. And I asked him what it was because of the fact that he did not keep his mouth shut. Li Yan told him that it really bothers a normal person like Liu Yuan to be limited to a hero with a rank like Li Yan that much. Liu Yuan didn't like it. He got up and punched the girl in the face, after which he said that they were fucking assholes. Are they just here? And what is this shitty alcohol? How dare she make him drink it? After that, he approached this girl, who fell to the floor from his blow, and poured all the alcohol from the bottle on her. Zai Yang caught this and almost took off, but he was stopped by Fan Peng, who told his friend that he should not act recklessly. This young master's name is Liu Yuan, and he is the second son of an A-rank hero of the Kunlun Company's mechanical hero, and this bodyguard is a hero C-rank fiery fist. But Yang Zai did not listen to Fan Peng and only told him to let him go. Fan Peng said that a normal person like Yang Zai is no match for him. Yang Zai said that he knows this, he just goes to the restroom. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan had already sat down on the seat again and was surrounded by 2 girls. Liu Yuan hugged them and said that they know how to apologize. He ordered to kill this girl and then he will spare them all. At the same moment, a man began forcibly pouring alcohol into the Lin Nexu. Yang Zai, wearing a mask so as not to be recognized, hit this man, and he said to Liu Yuan that he had heard that the son of a mechanical hero was present here. But Liu Yuan was already too drunk, so his bodyguard Li Yan stood up for him. He asked Yang Zai what he was. Liu Yuan, pouring another bottle into himself, said that it was most likely another person who wanted to die. Yang Zai said that he was just someone who wanted to make a deal with brother Liu Yuan. Liu Yuan asked him what the deal. What other deal? Li Yan told young master Liu Yuan that he thinks it's already quite late. It's time for them to leave. Liu Yuan threw a bottle at him and sent him away saying he was a piece of shit. He should back off. Can't he see that there is someone who wants to make a deal with him? Li Yan was furious. Liu Yun called out to Yang Zai and asked what kind of deal did he want to make with him. Li Yan put his hand on Liu Yun's shoulder and told him that he was already too drunk. He should sit down and rest, and he himself will talk with this actor. Yang Zai sat on the sofa and held a glass of liquor in his hand. He asked Li Yang what. Does he want to attack him? After all, in general, he is against violence, but he prevented him from talking about important matters with his master. Yang Zai put his glass on the table and stood up, after which he said that so he was going to teach him a lesson now. Li Yan told him to come. They will see who will teach whom a lesson. Li Yan prepared his fiery fists and told Yang Zai that he had a lot of bad luck today, otherwise he would not have provoked him. Yang Zai thought that the fire elemental attacks were C rank. A crowd gathered around them. Someone said that Yang Zai was so brave, but dared to challenge a rank hero disciple. The Zai sisters approached Lin Naizu and said that she would help her wash off the alcohol. Lin Naizu thanked her. A question was heard from the crowd. Do they know why they are fighting now? Someone asked that doesn't his mask look like a chicken? She seemed so mysterious. Will he be able to defeat the fiery boxer? Li Yan had already pounced on Yang Zai with his fiery fists, but seeing his reaction, because why doesn't he try to dodge? Maybe it's a trap. When he approached the young 11, he asked, "What is that all?" To which Li Yan said, "How naive that is. Since the day he became a hero, no enemy or beast has been able to withstand this attack." Then he attacked him. Now people were already scared. Someone said it would definitely burn someone. But when the flames dissipated, everyone saw that Yang Zai was still fine. Li Yan was also surprised and thought that he was safe and sound. And Yang Zai used a mental attack, after which he knocked out Li Yan. Liu Yun immediately jumped up and said that Yang 11 is strong. The fiery boxer was slain with just one blow. After his victory, Yang Zai used extract ability again. It was an ability from a rank. Title, Flame Strike. Description, can form flames on hands. Rating, the most for the cook. During this time, everyone had already fled, and Liu Yun was left alone. He was also very scared. He immediately came to his senses and asked what the hell happened here. Did this moron lose so quickly? Then he realized that he had no choice and asked Yang Zai what deal he wanted to talk to him about. How much money does he need? Can he translate them to him right now? But Yang Zai did not listen to him and grabbed him by the throat. Liu Yun said no, didn't he know who his father was? Yang Zai is cold, replied that his father is a mechanical hero, so what? Liu Yun told him that if he killed him, his father would not spare him. Yang Zai pulled him closer and said that he would not kill him. But does he know what he wants to share with him? Liu Yun cleared his throat and said what? Yang Zai asked him if he wanted to have the ability. Liu Yun was shocked and asked again, what ability? Yang Zai let him go. Liu Yun cleared his throat and asked him if he really thinks he is a god. Does he really think this is something he can just give to someone? Yang told him that if he wants to receive it, he must come to this address alone in 7 days, and threw him a piece of paper with an address. After all this was over, Yang Zai called his friend. Fan Peng was very worried and said that he already thought he had fallen into the ground and asked him why he didn't call. Yang Zai said that the bar was too noisy. He went outside to take a breath. What is it? Fan Peng said he missed a good show. He will now come out to him to show him everything that has happened, and ask him if he wants to eat barbecue. Yang Zai said that he would eat anything. Yang Zai thought that part 1 of his plan had been completed. Now all that remains is to wait for Liu Yun to bite on the hook. If he starts checking from within the Kunlun Company heroes, it will be much faster. He promises his sister Fairy Fairies that soon he will know the whole truth. Meanwhile, all the heroes gathered in the Hero Association and watched a video that showed what happened in the bar. The mechanical hero asked what they had finished and what were everyone's thoughts on it. The ice adventurer said that the masked man used his hand like a knife to take down the flaming boxer in 1 second. He is most likely taller in the Yaranga. The lazy swordsman said, no, what killed the Liang was not a hand. Li Yan lost the moment the masked man moved his hand. Mo Long put a piece of paper on the table and said that this was the assessment of the injuries of the fiery boxer from the identification department. They should all take a look at it. When everyone looked at this information, they were horrified. Everyone asked in chorus that the ability of a fiery boxer was really gone. The mechanical hero said it seemed. The lazy swordsman asked where did this guy who can erase other people's abilities come from. Mo Long said that as far as he knew, only S-rank heroes had this ability. The mechanical hero asked him what did he think it was him. The glacial adventurer jumped up from his seat and said it was impossible. The transporter is an old man with 1 foot in the grave. How could he appear now? Mo Long said that Kunlun Co. would not be able to deal with this matter on its own. They must report it. About this in the Association of Heroes, the lazy swordsman said that such a possessor of special abilities, how could he, depending on what company he was in, be used as a killing machine? And no one will tell about it. The mechanical hero suggested to everyone that they would not be the first to report this, it would be their company's secret. Liu Yuan's estate. Liu Yuan lay on his bed. He kept thinking about what Yang Zai said to him. He thought about abilities and asked himself if he could even get one. That guy told him that this was a deal. But what does he want from him? He again took out a piece of paper with the address, but then crumpled it and said that in any case, a couple more days and he would have the ability. And he doesn't care about the rest. Fang Peng asked Yang Zai why he suddenly invited him to the museum, to which Yang Zai replied that he wanted to learn more about the monsters so that it would be easier for him to run away if he met them. And he himself thought, I wonder if he can extract the ability of a rank S monster. When they entered the museum, Yang Zai told his friend that it seemed to him that he was not trying to find out about the monsters, but to pick up girls. Fen Pen answered him that everyone knows that only beauties come here. Yang Zai pointed out the monster to him and said that he came here for it. It was an electric dinosaur monster S rank. It is 7 meters high and 12 meters long. A monster that appeared early on. It spewed out electricity and caused many disasters, due to which the entire city of Lugan was paralyzed. Because of him, 5 heroes of A rank, 13 heroes of B rank, and 27 heroes of C rank died. The 2 of them approached the statue of this monster. Yang Zai told Fang Peng that he was planning to write an article about the monster invasion. He turned on a demonstration of his power, how he sends electricity. Fan Pen was delighted and said that this monster is so powerful. Yang Silhouette thought for a moment that if he could extract that fearsome ability, then Yang Zai reached out with his hand towards that monster, but the guard stopped him and asked him what he was doing. Yang Zai greeted him and said that he was a journalist and wanted to write an article about monsters, and handed him his identification card. The guard made his card and asked what journalist. If he wants, then let him write his article. But here you can only look with your eyes, and not touch with your hands. Yang Zai Fang Peng looked at each other. After that, the Fan Pen distracted the guard and said that it was okay. They won't touch him. And he turned to the guard and asked him what. Can he ask where the cutest chicks are here? The guard asked him again, what are cute chicks? Is he crazy? Fan Penny said that how to go, not very special and rare. When Fan Peng distracted the guard, Yang Zai reached out to this monster to extract its abilities. The system said ability extraction activated. Yang Zai thought that he could sense this ability, but why is it so difficult to extract it? But after some time, he still managed to do it. The system said that the extraction is complete. Yang Zai received this ability, but when he decided to view the characteristics of this ability, he was shocked. After all, the system did not provide any information about this ability. But later, the characteristic of this ability nevertheless manifested itself. And Yang Zai was even more surprised. He was even annoyed. It was an E-rank ability. The name of this ability is electricity. Description: can create an electric ball. Rating: can be used to charge your phone. Yang Zai was very disappointed and said that he had just extracted an E-rank ability from an S-rank monster. And he wondered if his ability had weakened because he had been dead for a long time. But could it be that last time he was able to extract an ability from a monster because the monster was still alive? He decided to walk around the museum and he said to himself that it looked like he was not getting anything useful from the museum. But it cannot be that he came here in vain. He must continue his search. In the evening, when he returned home, he sat down at the table in his room and said that he only received 3 low-rank abilities and walked around the entire museum in the process. F-rank ability. Name: cloning. Description: can be used to create a clone that lasts for a minute. Rating: can be used to turn on the light. The next ability he found was an E-rank ability. Its name is an electricity. Description: can create an electric ball. Rating: can be used to charge your phone. The 3 ability he found was an F-rank ability. Title: human control. Description: can make any person show interest in you. Evaluation: you are not going to use it to commit unethical acts, right? After reviewing all the information about these abilities, Yang Zai said that the power of these abilities is so weak that it scares him away. Since abilities can be combined, but can they also be destroyed? Well, he decided to try it with C-rank fire ability anyway. He tried, but it didn't work the first time, so he decided to try again. After some time, he still succeeded, and the system said that the ability was destroyed. Ability level was 1. Name, dark energy. Description, base substance. Rating, perfect and indestructible square. Yongzai took this dark square in her hand and asked what is dark energy. Could it be that abilities are made from these cubes? That is, it can actually destroy the ability. Ability can be decomposed into the most basic components. These are cubes of dark energy. Then, accordingly, can he use these dark energy cubes to enhance abilities? He decided to try it, and he succeeded. The system said that the ability to improve. It has now become an E-rank ability. Title, Human Control. Description, you can mentally approach the target. Evaluation, the ability to deceive people. Now you can start scamming. Yongzai was delighted and asked if she had really improved. If that's true, then would he be able to create S-rank abilities himself? Screams were heard in the corridor. Someone asked them to leave and not touch him. Yongzai thought, did Liu Yuan come to Lin Naizu? Lin Naizu's father said that she was crying and crying. All she can do is cry. Her father sat on the couch in her room and smoked. He told her that they were not trying to deliberately deceive her. Yongzai entered the room. Did the father tell his daughter that if they didn't, she would gladly send them money? At this point, their mother also intervened in their conversation, who said that her brother needed money to buy a house and a car, as well as to have a wife. In total, this will amount to about $1 million. Where do they get such money from? Lin Naizu could not stand it and asked that they really deceived her when they said that her father was very sick and he needed to urgently send money. Do they have any idea how desperate she was when she found out her father was ill? She worked 4 shifts from morning to night just to earn this money as soon as possible. Father just said that they thought she'd just go as far as she could first, and he'd find ways to get the rest a bit later. The lineage of their Lin family cannot end with them, right? Lin Naizu asked if this was just a way to bring her home and sell her a man she didn't even know. Mom approached her daughter and said that even if this person did not receive a higher education, he is honest and kind, he will not treat her badly. At this point, Lin Naizu could not stand it at all and asked what was wrong to treat. How do they think? Where did the 50,000 she sent them a week ago come from? It's that she was the bartender and wait staff. She became an escort, do they understand that? Her parents were horrified by this information. Father got up from the couch and asked what she had just said. She ruined the reputation of their family. He called his daughter names and, waving his hand at her, said that he would beat her. Lin Naizu told her father to hit her because those clients hit her harder than he ever did. But Yongzai came to her aid, who told her father that everything could be discussed because she was still their daughter. The father was simply furious and asked that who was he to get into their family showdown. He punishes his daughter, who is he to stop him? Yongzai thought that her father did not regret it at all. But I looked at her mother and realized that, it seems, her mother regrets this. He would help her a little and see if she could help Lin Naizu. He activated the ability to control a C-rank person. After that, Lin Naizu's mother hit his father and said enough was enough. She said that his daughter even became an escort because of him. Is his heart made of stone? Mother went to Lin Naizu and hugged her. She told her daughter that her mother hurt her, but she was always her dearest child. The father also remembered his mistake and sighed. He said okay, then her brother will earn everything on his own. Lin Naizu said that everything is fine as long as people understand it in time. Besides, who in this world would not feel sorry for his own family? With these words, Yongzai remembered his sister, who was in the hospital. The next day morning at the railway station, Lin Naizu saw off her parents. She told them to be careful. On the way back, she will visit them for the new year. Mom told her that it was good and told her to take care of herself and not do more stupid things. When her parents left, Lin Naizu thanked Yongzai for seeing her off. And now they have to go back. Yongzai handed her the coffee and said that he hoped her brother would understand. After all, it will be much more useful than any amount of money that she sends him. Lin Naizu winked at him and told him to come over to her as she wanted to tell him something. Yongzai was confused and asked what. Lin Naizu herself walked up to him and kissed him on the cheek, and thanked him again for his help. At night, Yongzai put on his suit again and was now outside. He thought that, as befits a monster corpse processing center, their guards are extremely strong. This place holds a huge number of monster corpses. This can make it easier for him to gain new abilities. It seems that he can only choose a special way to get inside. A large car drove by, and Yongsi dived under it and grabbed it there. But he was not alone there. There was already a girl who gestured for him to be quiet. He thought, what is it? Is this person also trying to get into the center? And she is a girl. Yongzai decided to greet her, and he said what a coincidence. The girl, apparently, was not very happy with this and said that what a coincidence. She was so unlucky that she ran into him. Then they will act according to the rules of the field and rely on their abilities. She is the representative of the Fanhai Kyan Dodo Chamber of Commerce, and she asked Yang Zai, who is he? Yang Zai briefly introduced himself as Yu Jai. Kyan Dodo said that they would soon reach the unloading area. But wait, she can't get off the truck with him like that. Then Yang Zai told her to hold on tight. Then he grabbed her, and together they jumped out from under the van. Yan Zai cleared his throat and asked Kyan Dodo that, how long is she going to hug him like this? Kyan Dodo blushed all over and was very embarrassed. She quickly got up and told him that if the situation didn't call for it, then who would even want to hug him? They snuck into the monster corpse processing room. Kyan Dodo asked Yang Zai why he looked like he had never seen anything like it. Maybe he's new to this business. Yang Zai said that yes, he would be under her supervision and called her the eldest. Kyan Dodo told him that since he was so sincere, she couldn't stop him from following her. They entered the room and found the corpse of a huge monster there. They approached him and Kyan Dodo said that the boss needed white hair on the chest of the werewolves, so he would have to carefully cut them off. She took out a small box and, turning to Yang Zai, laughed evilly and said that her ability of this storage bag can store many things in it. It's cool, right? Yang Zai thought, what a disgraceful name for space ability. Kyan Dodo said that they should go to the next processing room. As she turned away, Yang Zai extracted that werewolf's ability. It was a rank D ability. Title, Metal Transformation. Description, can change the appearance of any metal. Rating, the dream of any car service owner. And then the alarm went off. They both started. Kyan Dodo said that no alarm went off. Have they been discovered? Here the door opened from which a man in a white coat stepped out. He would be very scared and say that the monster is not dead. After that, the monster declared him to be its tentacle and dragged this man along. The man asked for help. Yang Zai and Kyan Dodo hid in the next room. Kyan Dodo grabbed the young 11 and asked what was that just now. And she asked Yang Zai that he could not support her a little, otherwise her legs were completely weakened. But then one of the tentacles touched her and dragged her away. Yang Zai decided to use force fire. Kyan Dodo yelled at him to save her, but the force fire ability did not help him. Yang Zai ran after this monster and thought that this syntax is very fast. As he held on to it, he noticed that all the metal posts were here, everywhere one metal, and he decided to use rank D abilities, Metal Transformation. He severed one of the monster's tentacles, and Kyan Dodo fell to the ground. Yang Zai ran up to her and asked if she was okay. Kyan Dodo freed herself from the remnants of the tentacle and said that these tents had hooks, and it hurts a lot. Her t-shirt was almost completely torn. The two of them looked in the direction of the monster and Kyan Dodo asked what kind of monster it was. How could he come back to life? To which Yang Zai replied that they would find out after they saw it for themselves. They got closer to this monster and saw what it looked like. He was very scary. Instead of a head, he had a huge skull with giant fangs. He also had a lot of captives who begged for help. Yang Zai and Kyan Dodo, when they saw all this, were horrified. They were speechless. They didn't know what to say. This monster had tentacles that even popped out of its eyes. When Yang Zai still managed to get out of his stupor, he decided to use the metal transformation ability. Thus, he tried to defend himself against that monster's attack. Kyan Dodo told him that this number was becoming less and less popular. He must think of some other way. But Yang Zai did not yet know what exactly to do. Kyan Dodo was already very frightened and said that she would definitely die now, they would eat her. Yang Zai looked around in hell, thought that it can't go on like this, but it looks like he just saw some cans of gasoline. He told Kyan Dodo not to be afraid, because he had an idea, he would protect her. Kyan Dodo asked what kind of idea, but Yang Zai did not answer and used his ability to make the gas canisters go towards the monster. After that, he used his ability, with the help of which he blew up gasoline. The freed people took to their heels, and someone shouted that they had to run while they couldn't. Yang Zai and Kyan Dodo did the same. Kyan Dodo wanted to grab this monster again, but then some old man appeared and cut this tentacle. The old man was very angry and told them that so they are the guys and there are thieves who revive the monsters to attack this place. Tynup started arguing with this old man. She asked him who is he, and why did he start to carry some kind of nonsense as soon as he appeared. The old man put away his weapon and said what a disrespectful child she was. When he was in his prime, she still drank milk. Kyan Dodo was furious and told him that he was being very disrespectful as an old man. Yang Zai thought that this is really Duan Shualu, the hero who defeated King Kong Berserker 10 years ago. Yang Zai stepped forward, blocking the Kyan Dodo and turned to the old man and said that the senior Duan. The elder Duan said that Yang 11 is more respectful. He will deal with him when he finishes dealing with this monster. Yang Zai thought he was a rank hero, but why is he here? In a cadaver center, Old Man Duan rushed to attack the monsters and used the North Star attack, style 1 greedy wolf attack. Yang Zai, watching all of this, said that, as expected, from the legendary inherited power called the North Star attack, each one is an advanced technique. Even those with S-rank abilities would have to take a few steps back. Tian Dodo was also fascinated by this technique and said it was so cool. But the monster got even more mad, and it became such, were 2 times faster. But the old Dua did not lose his head and applied the attack of the Polar Star, style 2 Hunger for Heaven. And then I decided to finish off the monsters and use the abilities of the Water of Heaven. Now the monster has been defeated. After Dongyu and Old Man dealt with this monster, he again went to those 2, and pointing at them with the ball, he said that after he dealt with this monster, now it's time to deal with him. Yang Zai thought, what intense eyes that are filled with determination and murderous intent. Yang Zai told him that they were indeed not the ones who revived this beast. But the old Duan was not going to believe them and said that this was nonsense. They have very suspicious personalities. Do they think he will believe them? Tian Dodo asked Yang Zixi if he was sure that he would defeat this old man. Yang Zai told her that he couldn't and asked her what she wanted. Tian Dodo told him that no, she just wanted to lend him a weapon. She gave this weapon and, as she ran away, told him that it was an armor that was made from the materials of a B-rank monster. She is sure that it will give him the help he needs. She will root for him. Yang Zai put on this armor and thought it was just crazy. It reminds him a lot of the fairy sister of the fairies. At this time, the old Duan had already pounced on Yang Si, told him to taste it. But Yang Zio managed to defend himself. He thought that this armor could withstand even the attacks of a senior Duan. This armor is really very powerful. They started fighting among themselves. Yana Zai used the ability to reboot the brain, and I thought that after activating the brain reset, his attacks seemed to be slower. But this is not enough to defeat him. The old man Duan attacked him again and said that he had opened. Yang Zai at this time thought that he would not be able to dodge now, and that's why he used the ability to control a person. Duan old man asked Yang Zai that he really stopped his movement, to which Yang Zai replied that he would be in danger if he did not. The old man Duan asked him that, are these tricks really all that petty thieves are capable of? Then Yang Zai decided to make himself a semblance of a sword with the help of the metal transformation ability, and they crossed their blades. Yang Zai thought that each of his attacks was very strong. He can use a person's control to stop him for a short time without being cut in 2. They gathered an audience that watched their battle. One of the guys said that he was fighting Duan Shualu. In that case, could this guy be a rank 6 hero of the Weapon God Zone? Yang Zai overheard their conversation and thought, who is this weapon god anyway? Duan old man told him that judging by his attacks, he is most likely not a thief. He put away his sword and told the people who had gathered to watch their battles to leave this processing area. After all, he has something to say to this guy. Some guy asked again that they all really need to leave. Duan old man was very angry about this, and he asked what? Is he not going to listen to the order of the manager of this center? The whole crowd was frightened and rushed to their heels, saying that they were leaving. Tian Dodo told Yang Zai that she would be waiting for him outside. When they were alone, Yang Zai asked old man Duan what he wanted to tell him. Duan old man told him that he knew that he was not a weapon god. His skills can't compare to those of a weapon god, only his metal ability was similar to him. But he still has several abilities, so he can be considered a strong person. Someone like Yang Si would never come here just to steal some fur. Therefore, the old Duan decided to ask him, what, did he really come here in search of a world secret? Yang Zai did not understand and thought that what kind of world secret was he talking about? What is this old man talking about? But he decided to try to get more information from this old man. So he decided to tell the old man that, yes, he had come here in search of the secret of the world. Duan old man laughed and said that he was young and ambitious. It would be great to tell about this to such a strong person as he is. This is very good. He patted his shoulder and said that the real purpose of this center was to open a one-way tunnel to the monster world, the so-called white hole. Yang Zai asked what? Then the old Duan began to tell him everything. He said that 15 years ago, the white hole of the city of Logan was successfully opened. The Hero Association sent a small team of highly ranked heroes on a special mission to infiltrate the monster world. He was on that team himself. During this mission, many rank S heroes died. Only he and 2 other people were able to return from there because they risked their lives. In fact, every monster corpse processing center is built on the weakest points of the earth. As long as they continue to burn monster bodies at these weak spots, they will be able to open a white hole that leads to the monster world. Yang Zai listened to his story and asked, "What then? How about that revived monster?" An old man said that this is something they can't say to the outside world. In fact, this is a mutation of a monster that rubbed a white hole. They people on this planet are like animals that are trapped by beasts. Only when they gather the strongest forces of humanity will they have a chance to defeat them. After the story, the old man turned around and told Yang Zai that he could go. After all, no matter what organization he is in, they must remember, they are all part of humanity. The next day in the office building, the woman reported to the director that it was old man Duan Shualu who continued to do stupid things. How could he even tell such things to the outside world? To which the director replied that even if he had not told this, sooner or later other organizations would have known about it, and it is impossible to keep the world's secret only between them. The woman asked him that the video conferencing from the headquarters is here. The woman on the video call said that more than 25 people are already participating in it, and they have already fulfilled all the necessary conditions for the consideration of the Category S case. Further on what the Association of Heroes of the City of Lugan reports, they need to start a conference. Should they tell the truth to the hero owner associations that raise a rank? Yang Zai visited his sister Yang Fei Fei again in the hospital. He asked her what did she know. He was told one harsh truth today. After talking with the old Duan, he left. Everyone started whispering. Someone asked what happened inside. Had he really defeated the old Duan Shualu? Hyan Dudu called out to him and asked if he was okay. Yang Zai thought that he couldn't let other people know about his abilities, and said he was fine. And he asked Tian Dodo to look into his eyes. Tian Dodo asked, "What is it for?" Yang Zai used the ability to control a person. He told her to forget that he used the powers of fire and metal, and she should remember that he brought her this armor, and he also owes her 10,000. After that, he snapped his fingers and pulled up until he came to his senses. She ran and said it was good that he was fine. Yang Zai told his sister the whole story and said that this Tian Dodo is very similar to her. She is cute and loves money. Maybe after he avenges his sister, he'll find a way to wake her up. That same evening, in his room, Yang Zai used his metal transformation ability again. He made himself a star absorption ring. He took the ability medicine and said that he couldn't let people know his real ability. He must use these two things to deceive Liu Yuan, and of course the snake. He used the transformation ability and created new clothes for himself. Yang Zai said that this set of clothes would be called Snake. His abilities will be different from those of Yu Jai. He will have C-rank electricity, and he can also use fire attacks when necessary. Due to the fact that Yangtze has become a part of this, an organization will appear that consists of many of it, and it will be called Judges. Its main purpose is to judge those heroes who have fallen. Yang Zai came to meet Lai Yuan. When Yang Zai arrived, he saw Liu Yuan sleeping. Yang Zai approached him and told him to wake up, and kicked him. Liu Yuan jumped up and asked how dare he wake him up. Does he really want to? But then I realized who it was and apologized to Yang Zai, saying that he was sleepy. Yang Zai thanked him for coming here as he wanted. It seems that Liu Yuan believed his words. Liu Yuan named Yang Zai as Yu Jai's boss and said that if he could give him the ability, he would get whatever he wanted in money, girlfriend, and status. Otherwise, hug Yangtze and cry. Yang Zai pushed him away and said that he was not interested. Getting the ability is very easy. He just has to look into his eyes. What Liu Yuan did. And then Yang Zai used the ability to control a person. After Yang Zai used this ability, he told Liu Yuan to tell him what he knew about the blue pill. But the mesmerized Liu Yuan remained silent. Yang Zai thought, what is going on here? Didn't he succeed? He then ordered Liu Yuan to slap himself. But Liu Yuan still didn't do anything and just remained silent. Yang City thought that he had taken the initiative in vain. Could it be that he already has the ability? A higher C-rank ability that renders a person's control ineffective on them. Then Yang Zai decided to use his mental attack ability. He thought he hadn't attacked him the last time he was at the bar, but it doesn't look like Liu Yuan has any ability. But in any case, Yang Xi should try, and he managed to extract Liu Yuan's ability. Yang Zai was very surprised at this and said, what the hell? Does he really have the ability? Liu Yuan had an A-rank ability. The name of this ability is Resurrection. Description: only once after death can a person with this ability be reborn and go back a day. Grade: A-rank ability, but it can only be used after death. How stupid is that? I couldn't be more surprised and asked if this guy actually has an A-rank ability. This ability will undoubtedly turn the tide of events. And speaking to Liu Yuan, who was still passed out, told him that he would be kind to him after he took his ability. And he thought that now he would put a pearl into it, which he received at the corpse processing center. After he did so, he commanded Liu Yuan to wake up. After that, Liu Yuan jumped up and asked Yang Zai to give him the ability. But then it dawned on him, and he asked when did he manage to fall asleep. Yang Zai told him that it was fine, he was just too tired. And he asked him if he saw this ring. Liu Yuan looked at the ring in Yang Zai's hand and said yes. Yang Zixi said that this star absorption ring, which was made by the Liu Yuan organization, could use it to steal ability factors from others as well. Liu Yuan was shocked and asked if it could really do that. So, what is next? Yang Zai said that the organization uses special methods and turns these ability factors into a medicine, an ability that can empower ordinary people, and showed him a bottle of filling. After that, Yang Zai threw the bottle into Liu Yuan's hands. Liu Yuan asked what is so special about it, but does Yang Zai deceive him? To which Yang Zai replied that he could drink it, then he would know if it was true or not. Liu Yuan began to examine these bottles and thought, could it be poison? But if he wanted to kill him, he wouldn't drag it out until today. So Liu Yuan made up his mind and drank the contents of this bottle. Yang Zai chuckled and told Liu Yuan that he would soon know the power of ability. Liu Yuan's appearance began to change, and he said that his whole body was on fire. Yang Zai looked at him and thought that it really had nothing to do with medicine. It is he who controls the pearl of ability at a distance. For a moment, Liu Yuan turned into a werewolf. He asked what is it? Yang Zai will answer him that this is the ability to transform, and asked him what he thought about it. Liu Yuan asked, is this really the ability? And his brother can turn into a dragon. Is he weaker or stronger than him? To which Yang Zai replied that his brother had an A rank ability, while he only had an E rank. Liu Yuan was furious of asking that E rank, but between rank A and E there is a difference of 3 ranks. Yang Zai cleared his throat. Zai told him not to worry as he had just joined the organization, so they could only give him F rank medicine. Liu Yuan made a pitiful expression and began to choke back tears. Seeing his expression, Yang Zai thought that this Liu Yuan had turned into a werewolf. But why is he so stupid and cute like a husky? Yang Zai told him that since he would have to work together, he changed it to an E rank for him. Liu Yuan, after listening to Yang Zai, thought that it really follows from this that they have other abilities in the organization. But then doesn't this mean that one day he himself will become stronger than his father? Liu Yuan joyfully hugged Yang Zai again and, calling him father, asked him if he could change it to a rank for him. Yang Zai, trying to fight off his strong hands, asked who was he calling his father. Liu Yuan told him that he would then call him his godfather. He had never before met a man who was so kind to him. Yang Zai told him that he didn't have one, even if he called him godfather. His organization has its own rules. Liu Yuan can only get it when they make enough achievements. Liu Yuan let him go and said that the godfather was good and asked him what kind of organization they were. Yang Zai asked him to listen carefully and said that the name of their organization is Judges. It was created by one powerful man. Under the boss is 12 zodiac leaders, and he is a rooster from the 12th zodiac. Liu Yuan asked him if someone as powerful as a godfather was just a leader, then how powerful is the boss? Yang Zai told him not to try to guess it. After all, the boss is not someone who often shows his face. He is very mysterious. Then Liu Yuan asked Yang Zai that how can he quickly earn his achievements. Yang Zai told him that, of course, this is done by completing the tasks given to him by the organization. Yang Zai just now has a task for him. Liu Yuan will use his identity as young master of the Kunlun company to search for information about the so-called blue pill. Liu Yuan asked what kind of blue pill is this. Jansenese said that it seems to be a pill that can increase one's strength, and he came to Lugan just the same in order to learn about the forces behind this thing. Liu Yuan's eyes lit up as he asked if this pill could really increase someone's strength. What is this wonderful thing? To which Yang Zai replied that he should not harbor evil ideas. There was already one such hero who used it and accidentally harmed an innocent person. Liu Yuan made it clear that he understood this. Liu Yuan took his true shoulders and asked who harmed an innocent person. Yang Zai said that it was an A-rank hero of their company, and his name was Glacial Adventurer. Liu Yuan was very surprised and asked if it was a canyon. But he always acts so cool, but in fact he is a drug addict. Yang Zai told him that when he finds useful information, they will meet here again, and then he will give him a rank D ability. Liu Yuan said good. Yang Zai was already heading towards the exit and said yes, as if he forgot to tell him something. The effect of the medicine lasts only a week. Liu Yuan's time is very limited. He must complete this task within a week. Liu Yuan was horrified and asked what. The next day, Yang Zai was walking around the city, but he noticed some kind of announcement, decided to come closer and see it. It was written that he was wanted. They are looking for Uncle Yu Jai. He is alone in a black cloak with a white mask on his face. If anyone has any clues, they should call Tan Dodo, and she gave her phone number. Yang Zai was shocked by this information that even spat on this announcement. The man who was in this booth called him names and asked what he was doing. Yang Zai apologized to him. Yang Zai took this ad and walked along the road, saying that he really didn't think that this girl had something like that in her sleeves. But he noticed that a company of people was coming around the corner, and looking at them closer, he saw their Tian up to Togo and asked if it wasn't she. But what happened to her? And he decided to follow and eavesdrop. A group of 3 surrounded the Cayenne Dodo, and she asked them who are they? The pierced man said that she had better listen to them and give the young master's blade back. Tian Dodo said she had no idea what they were talking about. And what is a blade? She doesn't even have one with her. The masked man could not stand it and told her to stop this performance. She played with their young master because he was too naive and used false jewels in exchange for his blade. The man with the piercing told her that she'd better give it up if she still wanted to live. Yang Zai eavesdrop on them. I think, is it really Muramasa? It's an S-rank legendary weapon. Is it really in the Kendudu? Kendodo at this time thought, does that mean that this blade is actually something good? If so, she took out her little box and, starting to play her next performance, told them what a young master. She had never heard of anyone like it. They must have been wrong. Yang Zai, listening to her, thought what a poor argument this was. Anyone can deduce once they hear her that this greedy girl got the blade but doesn't want to give it back. The girl who was standing with those 2 guys said that there was no need for this chatter, they should already start to act. After that, the pierced man used the army-style ability of triple knives, and the masked man used the doppelganger shadow-style ability. Seeing this, Yang Zai said, are these 2 hereditary type abilities, and are they both above C rank? Cayenne Dodo said she was not the type to be easily intimidated. She took out a weapon and ranks from her backpack, which is called a kametachi. Then she threw them all away. And when she left this place, Cayenne Dodo laughed and said that there was no rule that could force her to return things after she received them. At the bottom, there was still the girl who used the rank Snow Woman ability, Cayenne Dudu, who wanted to get out of there already. She asked why it snowed all of a sudden. At this time, Yang Zai used the ability to change clothes, and the girl was already chasing the Cayenne Dodo and used the Snow Typhoon ability. Yang Zai was very frightened for Cayenne Dudu and called out her name. Reporters have already arrived at this place, and one of the reporters, a man, said that there was a fight going on right now on Chang Ting Street. If there is at least one hero nearby, then he should come to the rescue as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Tian Dodo got caught in that girl's Snow Typhoon. She fell very hard and said that it hurt a lot. That girl approached her and asked her if she would now return a thing that did not originally belong to her. But Tian Dodo was very brave and said it was good. Then she can ask her what kind of blade she lost, silver or gold. This is very strong, angered the girl, and she, using her ability, pinned the Tian Dodo to the ground, and told her to advise her to be more honest, otherwise she would tear her frozen legs into small pieces. But Tian Dodo was very serious, and she told this girl that she would never fall for her tricks. She got this blade thanks to her skills, she would never throw it away just like that. And she threw this blade into the hands of Yang Zai and told him that this blade is now his and he gets it for free. Yang Zai caught that blade and said, Tian Dodo that, as expected, from her. She had already noticed him, and he thanked her for the blade. But what the hell, no one would want such a worn-out blade, even if Tian Dudu offered the man money. Tian Dodo became embarrassed and said that she didn't even think that they would go after her because of that blade. Meanwhile, the girl shouted that these 2 people were allies from commanding her men to grab Yang Zai. Yang Zai surrounded 4 men. One of them attacked the Yangtze and called him names and told him to taste it. At that moment, Yang Zai realized and thought that this blade he was holding in his hand was absorbing his mental power. Is his body moving on its own? He, without putting any effort, cut this man in half. He himself was very shocked and asked what the hell was going on here. Behind him was a man with a piercing who pounced on Yang Zai, but Yang Zai neutralized him with this blade. The pierced man fell to his knees and asked his teacher to save him. Yang Zai extracted the ability of this pierced man. It was a C-rank ability. The name of this ability was 3 styles of blade, sun and moon. Description of this ability: 3 blade styles allow you to activate the power of the blade in order to fend off enemies. This ability rating, with rank, it's like holding a blade in your mouth doesn't look that cool. Yang Zai was already shaking with weakness. Bones said that this blade was taking too much of his mental strength. He couldn't take it anymore. Meanwhile, behind him was the girl who turned her ability on him. I told Nosy that it looked like he would have to use the rebirth ability today. Then someone came to their rescue, and the whole sky lit up with green. People were very surprised and asked, "What is it?" Yang Zai asked, "Is this the light of despair?" Cayenne Dodo was also very surprised and asked, "Is this really a lazy swordsman?" Along with the lazy swordsman came the hero Mo Long. Mo Long told the girl that they can forgive their Heyday group for being arbitrary in the 6th region. But are they guys brave enough to sow rebellion in the 1st region? The girl told him that they were here to return what originally belonged to them. They were abusing their powers. Kyan Dudu pointed her finger at this girl and told them to stop. After all, it was her master who gave her the blade, and this blade is completely hers. This girl thought that 2 rank heroes had arrived and she had no chance of winning. She must first of all ensure her own safety. Tian Dodo tensed because she thought that this girl was up to something. She did not lose. She continued to freeze her feet further. The girl turned to the heroes and said that even if they killed their people, if they returned to them what originally belonged to them, then she would leave the city of Lugam and save the life of this girl. Mo Long chuckled and told the girl that no one had said that she could leave this city of Lugansk. Do they really think that the 1st region is the place where you can just come and go at your own will? And he turned to the lazy swordsman, to whom he said that this girl was his, and he would go and test Yu Jai's abilities. To which the lazy swordsman told him that the company intended to get him for himself. He should not overdo it. Mo Long had already gone to attack Yu Jai and said that, naturally, he was only helping his brother resolve issues between them. Yang Zai decided to defend himself with this blade. But when Mo Long hit that blade, Yang Zai flew very far away. Tian Dodo was very worried about Yang Zai. And Mo Long asked, "Is that really all?" The girl said that if this happens, she may die, and she used the absolute zero ability. Then the lazy swordsman used his ability, which was called the Blade of Strong Wind. Thus, he repelled all the attacks of the girl and even hit her herself. But the lazy swordsman said he didn't hit it. Tian Dudu said that's not true, didn't she just crash? To which the lazy swordsman told her that it was just an illusion. She's escaped, but she still has to be somewhere nearby. But then they noticed that Yu Jai's brother was also missing, and Yang Zai himself hid behind the corner of this building and thought that the damn blade. He didn't leave his body a drop of strength. And how will he cope with this threat now? But wait a minute, if this is a weapon from a monster, will he be able to extract an ability from it? He tried to do this, and the system said that an ability extraction had occurred. Yang Xido also received 2,500 units of dark energy. Yang Zai arranged the blade into black cubes. He said that even though he couldn't extract the pearl of ability, but he got a bunch of dark energy cubes. The materials from which the blade is made must be from an S-rank monster. What kind of ability does he need to improve in order to be able to go against the dragon? He took the ability sphere and the system sent him a message that the evaluation of this ability, D-rank abilities. Ability name, Metal Transformation. Yang Zai said to try this one. He got an A rank ability. Ability name, Metal Control. Description, abilities, it is possible to control all metals within a radius of 1,000 meters. The maximum weight of the controlled metal is 100,000 tons. Ability assessment, the person who has this ability is probably now an Iron Man. That girl felt it too. Yang Zai said that he feels every object made of concrete and metal. He feels those cars, planes, buildings. Finally, he had the opportunity to fight with someone normally. Then the girl decided to attack him from behind, but Yang Zai felt it and repelled her attack. But the girl wasn't going to give up so quickly. She kept attacking Yang Zai, and Yang Zai repelled all her attacks. The girl was horrified and asked that how is this even possible? Yang Zai grabbed her. The girl commanded him to let her go immediately, to which Yang Zai told her not to move. He would be more gentle when it comes to girls. The girl asked him what he wanted to do, but Yang Zai didn't answer her and extracted her ability. It was an A rank ability. The name of this ability is Snow Woman. A description of abilities summons a snow woman to help in battles. Also, a person can choose to merge with God, which enters his body. Yang Zai said that he thought it was just an elementary ability, but he had no idea that it was a summoning type. This is literally the main dream of all men. The girl assumed her true form and fell to the ground, but NCI picked her up. Then the lazy swordsman and Mo Long appeared from around the corner. Mo Long asked the lazy swordsman that was it really the passerby he knocked down. The lazy swordsman thought that had his aura changed. Yang Zai put the girl down and said that she was not a passerby, she was a snow woman. But he had already dealt with her. Mo Long was furious, and he asked Yang Zai if he was really mocking him. How can such trash, how can he defeat a snow woman? To which Yang Zai calmly replied to them that they could fight him to make sure of it. And he asked them which of them would be the first to attack him, or would they both attack him? Meanwhile, a male reporter went live, and asked if he hadn't misheard. This guy wants to go up against two, despite the fact that they are both A rank heroes. Why? Their evil dragon is able to take down this guy with just one finger. But do they look like he's bluffing? One of the people who watched this report said that he had already become a fan of that guy in the black robe. and someone said that this guy is very intimidating. The male reporter was very enthusiastic and asked, "What does it mean? Is there really going to be an exciting 1 versus 2 scene?" Mo Long said that despite the fact that the audience is trying to inflame this topic, he will not team up with a lazy swordsman in order to defeat him. After all, this will lead to the fact that the heroes of a rank will lose their dignity. Yang Zai said, "What a pity. After all, a battle of 1 against 2 would be very exciting." Mo Long told the lazy swordsman that in order to defeat the opponent, you need to understand him. But the lazy swordsman did not listen to him and said that he knew it. Mo Long paid attention to Yang Zai's hand and said that this ring on his hand is very strange. Most likely, the secret of the missing ability may be related to this particular thing. They should be as careful as possible. The lazy swordsman told his partner not to worry. He just wants to see how he defeated the Snow Woman. The lazy swordsman came forward and told Yang Zai that if he won, the evil dragon would naturally take him on. But Yang 11 didn't answer him, and then the lazy swordsman attacked him. But Yang Zai repelled his attack. After that, Yang 11 very quickly moved behind the back of the lazy swordsman, from where he attacked. But the lazy swordsman was also very fast and stopped his attack with his sword. Yang Zai almost hit the lazy swordsman, but the lazy swordsman drew attention to his ability and asked him if he was really controlling his sword. Yes, he was dreaming. After which, the lazy swordsman hit Yang Zai and Yang Zai bounced off him. Yang 11 thought that the lazy swordsman's sword was made of monster materials. They are considered metal. Apart from this sword on his body, oddly enough, there are no other items. At this rate, Yang Zai will lose in any confrontation. But what should he do now? Yang Zai needs to upgrade another ability to a rank. Otherwise it will be very difficult to defeat a lazy swordsman. And that's not to mention that there's still an evil dragon looking at them menacingly. Yang Zai took 2 abilities. One of them was the A rank ability of the Snow Woman, and the other was the E rank ability of human control. And he mixed them up. He got an A rank ability. The name of this ability is Control of Puppets. Description of abilities: can perform illusory interference in A rank targets, and can also brainwash targets below B rank, including in ranks. It will also be possible to turn on their power for 10 years, and you can enter the body of a puppet for 2 hours every day. At the moment, the number of puppets is 0 out of 3. Ability score: extremely shameless ability. Yang Zai, after learning the new ability, said that he would not use this ability for shameful acts. Then the lazy swordsman shouted to him, asking him what he was doing there because they were still fighting. To which Yang Zai told him not to be so impatient. After that, he used his new ability, and the lazy swordsman saw a woman who asked him if he really decided to point his sword at his sister. The lazy swordsman fell into a stupor, but after Yang Zai dispelled this illusion, the lazy taper asked, "Is it really mental abilities? Yu Jai really has a double ability." Yang Zai told the lazy swordsman that he found out about it too late. He also didn't expect that a lazy swordsman who wields the intent of a storm ball would have such a weakness. The lazy swordsman was furious and, pouncing on Yang Zai, told him that yes, that he knew. Was it his late sister? He couldn't do it. The lazy swordsman is already exhausted. Seeing this, people were shocked. They were very scared. Someone shouted at him to get up, and the other man said that it's over. The lazy swordsman lost, and now we can only hope that the evil dragon will be able to defeat him. Another man said that he defeated the lazy swordsman so quickly that he almost became one of his fans. The man who led the live broadcast said that the lazy swordsman was sitting stunned on the ground. But could the man in black use a mental attack? The lazy swordsman was on the alert against the metal ability, but he didn't expect the other country to hide its mental ability, as both of the lazy swordsman's hands are shaking. It seems that victory is already a foregone conclusion. Jian Dudu, who was standing next to the man, told Yang Zai by a reporter that he was doing well. She already thought that this lazy swordsman would kill him, but if he died, then who would return her 10,000? Yang 11 thought, is someone really complaining about him? Mo Long came up to the lazy swordsman and told him that he had done a very good job. He made him use his last one. Now the lazy swordsman should leave everything to him. The lazy swordsman told him that he shouldn't look him in the eye. If he did, then the person he cared about the most would appear before his eyes. Mo Long went to fight with Yang Zai. Yang Zai, seeing him, asked if the evil dragon himself had finally appeared. The evil dragon told him that, in his opinion, this battle is of great importance, and offered Yang Zai to make a bet. Yang Zai said it would be very interesting to know what he would put on. The evil dragon said that how about if he loses, then he will tell him the secret of this ring. Yang Zai said that, of course, he should come and pick it up himself, if, of course, he could do it. And he himself thought that fortunately the evil dragon is not stupid. He was showing off here just so that everyone would pay attention to the star absorption ring. The evil dragon did not wait and immediately rushed to attack Yang Zai. Yang Zai was even surprised and thought, what kind of speed is this? An evil dragon is even faster than a lazy swordsman. But Yang Zai managed to bypass the evil dragon's attack. But the evil dragon still managed to hit him. The male reporter continued to broadcast live and said that the metal controlled by the man in black could not keep up with the speed of the evil dragon. The evil dragon asked Yang Zai, is it really a double ability? But this is hardly acceptable. Yang Zai stood up after being hit by the evil dragon. He cleared his throat and thought that this guy has a very high speed and a strong attack. And the scales of the evil dragon on his body have a high level of protection. An evil dragon can also spit fire, it's so illogical. The evil dragon told Yang Zai that it wasn't bad, he had a pretty strong bone. But Yang Zai didn't answer him and used the puppet control ability. And the evil dragon fell into this trap. He saw his brother Luke Yuan, who was telling him that it was very painful he had to save him. The evil dragon grabbed his head and told Yang Zai that yes, how dare he turn into his adored brother, he was sick of him. After that, the evil dragon turned into an earthen dragon of black flame. Yang Zai was very surprised and asked if the illusion had been destroyed, and it even angered him more. And the man continued to conduct his live broadcast and said that today they unexpectedly saw the second phase of the transformation of the evil dragon. And this man has no choice but to admire this masked man. After all, he actually forced the evil dragon to come to this. Meanwhile, the evil dragon attacked Yang Zai, but Yang Zai tried to stop him. Then the evil dragon asked him if he really thought he could stop him with these metal spikes. Yang Zai chuckled and asked the evil dragon, did he really become a drill? Then let him try to catch up with him. And Yang Zai rose up with his ability. The evil dragon asked him if he really thinks he can escape from him by flying. And the evil dragon himself rose into the sky. But Yang 11 didn't plan to give up so easily either, and he managed to grab the evil dragon and tie him up with his iron bars. The evil dragon was very shocked at first, but gathered his thoughts and asked Yang Zai if he had already forgotten about his black flame. The male reporter, continuing to conduct his live broadcast, said that the black flame of the evil dragon had already melted metal before and surely this time these metals would not last long. Giant Dodo slapped the reporter for this and said that brother Yu Jai is not only strong, but his tactics and strategies are also outstanding. He won't do useless things, but everything was not playing in favor of the evil dragon. He tried to melt these bars, but he didn't succeed. He asked if he couldn't melt it down, and Yang Zai at this time thought that this is a fire-resistant shield of rank B. It will not melt if he burns it only once. Well, now, Yang Zai began to attract metal from everywhere. The evil dragon was very shocked and said that it was the same. But Yang Zai will interrupt him and said that this is metal control. Yang Zai, I appeal to the evil dragon, said that he should fall, the fist of Titan. People were very scared and tried to escape from there. The evil dragon was also scared and asked if he would really die like that. After that, Yang Zai brought down all the metal he had collected. Everyone started running away from this place. The male cough reporter said that now that the dust has finally settled, we need to see if the evil dragon has survived or not. People crowded around the fragments of this metal and began to reason. One of the people said that, most likely, the evil dragon is already dead. Another said that it was simply impossible to survive in such a situation. And who noticed it? Who are you in the sky? And asked, what is it really not a cute fiery butterfly? Meanwhile, the fiery butterfly, crying, kept looking for the evil dragon, asking that where is he? The mechanical hero told the fiery butterfly to move away from there. The mechanical hero scanned this mechanical pile. People noticed the mechanical hero and told them to take a look, because this is a mechanical hero of a rank. Thank God he's here. But still the lazy and the swordsman of the dragon fracture managed to survive. The lazy swordsman said that he was still alive, but only thanks to the Psi wall. He sincerely regrets that he made the company lose face. To which the mechanical hero told him that everything was fine as long as he was alive. A fiery butterfly peeked out from behind the mechanical hero and asked if they needed help. The lazy swordsman looked at the evil dragon and said that then he would have to bother her with him. Meanwhile, Yang Zai had already reached home and healed his wounds. He sprayed himself with some kind of medicine and said it hurt so much. This evil dragon knows no mercy. The meeting with the snow woman and the evil dragon last time was quite expected. His main goal is to focus on the blue pill. Currently, there are only 2 leads. One lead is a glacial adventurer, in this case Yang Zai handed over to Liu Yuan. The second clue is the heroes in rank, the hero of spicy and sour noodles. A hero who is going to hold a fan meeting in the near future. Yang Zai should definitely go take a look at it. In the future, he will attract even more danger. He can no longer share an apartment with other people. He must prevent their involvement. Then Lin Naizu came into the apartment and said that she was finally home. Since I didn't expect to meet her at this time, he was very scared. Lang Naizu also didn't expect to see him here and asked what he was doing in the living room. Yang Zai said nothing. His foot hit the corner of the table, so he just rubs it with medicine. She came back just in time, because he wants to tell everyone that he's moving out. All three girls gathered and asked him if he was really moving out. Yang Zai said that being a man, it's not very convenient for him to live with them. He didn't have any money then, but now he's got a raise and his salary has increased, so he decided to move out. Zio AI pointed at Lin Naizu and asked Yang Zai, what about Lin Naizu's sister? Yang Zai covered his face with his hands and asked, what about Lin Naizu? He has nothing to do with her. Zio AI told him that in that case they wouldn't stop him. And since they already know each other's contact numbers, then let him not forget to call them when he is free. Yang Zai said yes, then he would treat them to a good meal. Let them think that this is their farewell dinner. Lin Naizu apparently was very angry with him and went to her room, slammed the door very hard. Yang Zai thought, did he say something wrong? Yang Zai said that if they were going to go out to eat, it was better to go all together. Zio AI asked Yang Zai that after all, Lin Naizu's sister is so beautiful and so kind to him. Why doesn't she deserve to be with him? Why does he communicate with her like that? Yang 11 wanted to answer her something, but the girls did not listen to him and turning to their rooms, Zio AI added that they would go and take a nap. They will have lunch after Yang Zai settles everything with sister Lin Naizu. When they left, Yang Zai said that saying he didn't like Lin Naizu would be a lie, but he really didn't want to drag innocent people into danger. After that, he decided and knocked on her door. Lin Naizu said that the door is not locked, he can enter. Yang Siwo Shu and saw the girl on the bed. He asked her for forgiveness. Lin Nexu asked him why he was apologizing. Didn't he say he had nothing in common with her? Yang Zai told her that she knew that wasn't what he meant. Lin Nexu couldn't stand it and started screaming. She asked Yang Zai that he didn't like her past, right? Yang Zai said no, she misunderstood everything. Then Lin Naizu asked him why didn't he like her? Is she ugly? Yang Zai said no and asked Lin Naizu to calm down. And I asked her that can't they just stay friends? Lin Naizu asked what friends? Yang Zai just has to ask himself already, does he like her or not? Yang Zai thought that most of Lin Naizu's kindness towards him came from insecurity, because her relationship with her family was being destroyed. She just wants to put her heart into another kind of attachment. And since he didn't answer her, she naturally took it negatively, believing that her past and her life experience are what makes people look up to her. She looks like a fragile porcelain doll that can break even at the touch of someone who cares about her. How could he possibly hurt her? Yang Zai said that he was actually, but Lin Naizu interrupted him and said that maybe he was speaking correctly. She was too impatient and thought that after the kiss, both of them had already found each other in their hearts. But even if it's not the time yet, she doesn't want them to become strangers, and ask him if he can become her first official boyfriend first. Yang Zai exhaled and said that well he promises it. The glacier adventurer was already very drunk and was in Liu Yuan's apartment. Liu Yuan watched him from the doorway and thought that if it wasn't for the Godfather's assignment, he wouldn't have spent so much money to invite him here to frolic. When the glacier adventurer fell asleep, Liu Yuan decided to search him. But when he found some strange box, the glacier adventurer woke up and asked him what he was doing. Liu Yuan was sweating with fear and said he was just looking for a light. Did he lose his lighter? Glacier adventurers gave him a lighter and asked where the girls had gone. Liu Yuan said the girls were waiting, and asked the glacier adventurer which one of them he liked tonight, and he will ask her to take a bath with him. The glacier adventurer said that the one who wears a jumpsuit. In the evening, when Liu Yuan invited the girl that the glacier adventurer liked, and they went to the bathroom, he began to search the glacier adventurer. He rummaged through his things and said that where did he put this thing? But soon he was able to find her and said that here she was. He opened this box and took out one cube and asked if it was really sugar. But it's not the smell of gum. It's something that smells good, but weird. He wants to eat it so much. But still, he overcame this desire and said that there was nothing in this thing. Is it really a blue pill? Then there were screams from the bathtub. Liu Yuan looked back and looked at the doors. He thought it scared him a lot. Is the glacial adventurer so raging there? He took the blue pill and said he would steal one of the hidden ones. Then he went to the bathroom and knocked on the door. Liu Yuan asked the glacier adventurer, what is he like? Is he okay? The glacial adventurer furiously opened the door. Liu Yuan looked through it and looked at the girl, and asked that this girl is she okay? The glacial adventurer quickly jumped out of the tub and began to pack his things. He said the girl was dead. Liu Yuan told the glacier adventurer that everything was fine. he should go first, and he would ask the people from the company to sort it out. The Glacier Adventurer said it was good. When the Glacial Adventurers left, Liu Yuan exhaled. He said it scared him so much to death. If the Glacier Adventurer found out, then he would have died. The Glacial Adventurer, sitting in his car, was very angry. He threw down the box of blue pills and cursed. He asked that how many times has it already been? Ever since he started taking this remedy, he can't control his strength at all. This is very bad. He needs to calm down. He drew attention to the pills and asked why one was missing. But then he gave up on it and said that there were only a few days left until the next batch anyway. It doesn't matter if you lose this one for one or get it. Fan Peng asked Yang Zai if he was crazy. Any other normal guy wouldn't even think about moving out of this apartment. Yang Zai told him that these were just illusions. And I asked a friend if he knew how uncomfortable it was to live with a bunch of girls. Fan Peng said that this alleged inconvenience is the beauty of it. Yang Zai told his friend that sometimes he becomes a real pervert. When they arrived at their destination, Vang Peng asked his friend that where did he get the money to rent such a nice apartment. To which Yang Zai replied that his adopted